know you focus on companies that are in that 25 to $75 million range. Why is why is that the right stage for PE to come in? And maybe more specifically, why does that feel like that's the stage that Mandatory wants to focus on and what your team wants to focus on?
Yeah, it's the right stage for us. That's where we play. It's kind of an interesting little cycle that's developed because CPG companies have moved up market and they really won't buy companies now. They'll buy distressed companies, but they won't buy uh, strong companies until they get kind of close to that $200 million range.
Yeah.
And the reason because they get orphaned if they buy too small, too soon, within that big CPG network. So that's created an opportunity. So you've got early stage investors that kind of help the company bootstrap up to that 40, $50 million range. Then you have people like us that come in. We typically invest 20 to 50 million into companies, and usually only maybe 10 million of that, 15 million of it goes into the company. The rest is secondary to early investors and founders that maybe want to take some chips off the table. Because to be honest, to get to 50 million, they've probably been in this for 8 years. These are not overnight successes. There's no such thing. And so it's been a long time and they need to get some money back for their investment, et cetera. They may not sell it all, but they sell a portion.
Yeah.
Then what's interesting is what's also developed now is, so let's say we take that company up to 150, 200 million. There's now a whole group of other investors that want to take it to invest again and take it to 300 or 400 million before selling. The TSGs of the world, Investar and Catterton. And so that's an interesting newer development where you see large CPG companies, emerging companies, sell to other private equity groups. And maybe they buy 60% or 70% of it. We get a bunch of our money back and some return, but then we also ride into the next round before selling to the full CPG sale.
Yeah. I think I heard you say that's a bit of a newer concept where some of these, what do you call them, growth equity investors are coming into that at that later stage and purchasing the company from you. If that's a newer thing, why was that not as much of a factor or part of the market as whenever it used to be, how long ago it wasn't a part of the market?
Yeah, it's a good question. The market has evolved primarily because of CPG demand, large CPG demand. So when I first started in the industry, basically there was a formula. When you got to 50 million, big CPG would buy you for 2 times revenue. And that was the formula. It didn't matter if you made money, none of that. It was just 2 times revenue. That started to transform. There was a period of time where it went up to 3, 4 times revenue. Now it's come back down and it's really about profitability. They want to buy companies that are already profitable because they know that those companies can charge for their product. They have strong demand, et cetera. But they've moved up their hurdle to that $200 million range. So the TSGs and the Vestars of the world, they might have been investors like us 10 years ago, investing in our size range.
Yeah.
But now they've moved up market and now they want to invest 100, 200 million into companies. And at the same time, CPGs won't buy those companies. So it becomes it just an opportunity has come about that didn't used to exist. So when Simple Mills first did their transaction, they went to sell, I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they couldn't get a large CPG to buy them at the price they wanted. But Vestar, and I think there were a couple other private equity groups, were offering 3 times revenue. And they came in and they bought, at the time, 40% of the company. And I think at the time the company was like 70 million in revenue. And then the company grew while Vestar was a 40% owner to 240 million. And then we sold for 750 million.
Right.
It's become a very good formula for people like us to sell to, because CPGs are taking a longer term approach to when they'll come in.
And when you sell to those other firms, are you typically selling your entire stake or you still got?
No, Yeah, that's a misnomer. We're not selling. We're basically, it's like a recap transaction
Yeah.
where they'll buy into somewhere between 40 and 60% of the company probably. And then we continue to be owners. All the original investors continue to be owners. It's
Yeah.
usually on a pro rata basis.
Yeah.
Everybody sells. So except for management, management sometimes doesn't want any to sell any piece and they want to keep just roll so they own more when it ultimately sells.